Hello, I'm Colin Mumford. I'm the Technical Support Manager at Bayer. The issues that we often get asked about regarding turf maintenance can be split into three categories: weeds, pests and diseases. In recent times, the pests and the diseases have been the main focus, and this is primarily because there has been a loss of products to control those pests and diseases in recent times due to regulatory issues. So pests such as chafer grub and leatherjacket, and diseases such as microdockium patch and anthracnose are primary questions that we get asked. The reason why these pests and diseases have become a problem is twofold. We've seen a loss of products to control them in recent years due to changes in the regulatory environment. Coupled with this is the milder weather that we've been having in the vast majority of the UK through the winter. So typically in a normal year, the colder temperatures would stop the activity of the diseases, and it would drive those turf pests to lower regions of the soil where they're not affecting the turf grass. But because we're having or because we're experiencing milder winters, both the pests and the diseases have remained active and have affected the turf grass as a consequence. The loss of effective insecticides in recent years has led to the populations of turf pests to grow and expand and become more of a problem now than they've ever been in the past. Coupled with the milder weather that we have in the winter, they're remaining active for longer periods of the year and are causing more damage to the turf. And a knock-on effect is the secondary damage that we see from mammals and birds. The mammals and birds will lift the turf to get to the turf pests to feed on them. And this secondary damage from mammals and birds is actually more devastating to the turf than the problems that the turf pests themselves cause on the turf. So it is a lack of effective insecticides that has led to this problem. With regards to turf diseases, again, we've seen changes in the regulatory environment, which has meant that we have lost products that were very effective at curing, halting the spread of disease, what we would call curative products. And because of that, turf managers have had to adapt the way in which they manage their turf. They're having to be more proactive rather than reactive. So the emphasis is on preventative applications rather than curative applications. We have seen some new diseases in the UK in recent times, possibly because of climate change, where the conditions are now favourable for those diseases to thrive, or it could be that those diseases have adapted to the climatic conditions that we have in the UK. These two diseases are grey leaf spot. Grey leaf spot will affect ryegrass, and it can be devastating to ryegrass, but there have only been very limited reports of that disease occurring in the UK, but it's something that could become an issue going forward. The other disease is white-ear patch. This affects annual meadowgrass, and it's more of an aesthetic appearance is the issue. It's only when you have very severe outbreaks that damage can occur to the actual turf grass itself. An IPM strategy is really important. So IPM stands for Integrated Pest Management, and it's essentially three elements. It's the combination of cultural, biological, and then chemical practices. And they should be done in that order. So cultural first, then biological, and finally chemical practices. It is important that an IPM process is carried out because no one element of those three components will effectively control and maintain a healthy turf sward. So it is important to use it. The chemical element, the product in a bottle side of it, should be used as the last component, but it should be used in the most effective way. So when it comes to controlling turf pests, for example, as part of that integrated approach, you need to be able to understand the life cycle of the pest so that you're using the product when the pest is at its most vulnerable. Likewise with the disease element, using products when it coincides with the most vulnerable stage of development of that disease. And typically with the products that are available in the industry now, we are tending to look at those preventative stroke very early curative applications for disease control. If you do have a disease that is established, it is a product will have an effect on it, but it wouldn't have a satisfactory effect. So it is important that you use those cultural, biological, and then chemical practices in tandem with each other and at the right stage of development for any given weed, pest, or disease.